Privilege and honor to introduce our speaker today, Mayor Richard Venable. I know everybody thinks that they know Richard in this club because he's a fellow Quantian, but just a few things that you may not know. He's a native of Gate City. He worked for Mason-Dixon 16 years, a company that's dear to my heart since my family came to Kingsport when I was 2 months old to work. My father worked for Mason-Dixon. And after that, he founded his own trucking company, so he's an entrepreneur. Also, he served in the legislature for 6 years. Of course, has been mayor 2 different times, once for 4 years, and also now currently in a second term, headed towards 8 years this time, so quite a bit of service. You may not also know that he's a Dodgers fan, so I'm sure he's looking forward to tonight after what happened the last time they played. And he also is probably the leading promoter of Converse shoes in the marketplace. He doesn't have them on today. He also has probably the best collection of striped preppy ties, which unfortunately doesn't have that on today, but he's usually got that kind of tie on. But a person that's done an outstanding job as a leader. And also he was the leader of Networks for 7 years, 8 years?
8 years.
8 years. Following me, and it's done a great job. Did a great job with that too. So it's a privilege and honor to introduce Richard Venable, our mayor. I didn't mean to cut off the applause, but I forgot to say he's also the mayor of Venable Street and the rest of Sullivan County.
Thank you, John. I'll take my mask off. I know you love them. I know you love to wear them. And I guess I'll share with you today. The news people are always asking me, are we going to continue to wear them? And I've got 2 orders on my desk that I will issue next. I'll issue one of them next week, and one of them ends on November 30th, and one of them ends on December 31st. So, conferring with my health department to determine, and my colleagues, Mayor Shaw and Mayor Luttrell and Mayor Wells in Bluff City, we make those joint decisions. It affects us all. Before I start, I'd like to add my thanks and recognition to Tom Parham. I was on the board of PetWorks when I was at Networks, and no one has worked more tirelessly and achieved so much. There is a world-class PetWorks out there. It is world-class, and for what I think is a world-class city. Quite honestly, John mentioned that I'm mayor of Venable Street. Don't blame that terrible road on me, though. I always said, don't ever move on the same street as the city manager. It'll never be paid. And John happens to live there too. I'd like to recognize Mayor Shaw. I can't tell you how gratifying it is to me to see the job that he's doing for Kingsport right now. It's outstanding, and he was a very good trainee as a county commissioner. But certainly everything that Pat's done in his life has prepared him to lead Kingsport. Vice Mayor Colette George is one of our outstanding commissioners in her first term out there. She has been a contributor from day one. And the other commissioner I see here, Gary Stidham. Gary's a freshman also this year, and Gary's quite a contributor to the county commission. So all the things that we do out there, you can thank them every time you see them in town. Jack, on the editorial page today, there's an article, and it says, why is it important that Senator Harris is wearing Converse All-Stars? And it's because I wrote her and told her it went over so well here. so anyway, and she is wearing Converse All-Stars on the campaign trail. You've asked me here today to talk to you about regionalism. Let me get my clicker here. What we have on the screen up here, I'm speaking to Rotary next week, and if you're going to be there, you're probably going to see most of this twice. I have 3 different subjects on the flash drive I brought. You see on the left a rendering of a new Sullivan County jail, and the bottom is the new park behind the Deer Inn, the Dennis Hauser Memorial Park at the Deer Inn in Lumple. And on the right, you see a flyover picture of West Bridge High. Exciting things happening in Sullivan County. I want to talk to you about regionalism, and I think we could start here by saying that we have 8 counties here in northeast Tennessee with combined total population of 500,000 people. We've never been able to take advantage of that population the way we should have. We're equal to Hamilton County and Knox County. And regionalism, by its definition, is putting those 8 counties together and having one voice in the areas that it makes sense that we do that. As you know, possibly a couple of years ago, Joe Grandy, the newly elected mayor of Washington County, and I asked our county commissions to meet together. We had, I think, 45 people in that room when we met, and we signed a joint proclamation pledging to work together with our county commissioners to work together to advance the cause of regionalism. Shortly after that, Joe and I appointed a blue ribbon task force to study regionalism, and we started off with 5 areas that we wanted to look at. One was traditional economic and industrial development. The next one was entrepreneurship, and John Campbell has been a great leader in that area, and as has Heath Gwynn. I'll digress just a little bit and tell you about that. Entrepreneurism effort got out front a bit of the other objectives. There was a $250,000 grant available to Sullivan County, and Heath Gwynn applied for that grant, but it was a matching grant. And fortunately, we have a vision with our Sullivan County Commission that Sullivan County Commission stepped up and matched that grant to get Heath started off on entrepreneurism. So he started off with a good budget. As we go forward, I've talked with Mayor Grandy about Washington County picking up the 2nd year and the potential for private business to pick up the 3rd year. So we'll have 3 years of organization that will help small businesses, form small businesses, and help them get started. Heath has got about 24 businesses, I believe he's talking with today, and is having some great success. But the other areas with workforce development, because the workforce in northeast Tennessee travels. I think I've got, well, here's the population of the first Tennessee Development District counties. That is the last census, and you can see that the bottom total is 512,000 people. The next item I'll talk to you about in a minute. I did want to talk to you about the commuting in northeast Tennessee. We have people driving every day, and 45 minutes will just about get you any place in the first Tennessee Development District, from the tips of Greene County to Johnson County. So that is the workforce area that we're dealing with. Three of those counties, Sullivan, Hawkins, and I believe Hancock, are certified work-ready communities. And that's an ACT program. Your college ACT test you take, they have a program to certify communities that they have a ready, willing, and trained workforce. That's part of that. The other area we looked at, one of the 5 major areas was tourism. Tourism is the 2nd largest industry in Tennessee, and we have fragmented approaches to tourism in northeast Tennessee. Everything we're talking about, we have fragmented efforts in each county, and the effort to bring this all together and have one voice speaking loudly for those efforts is what we're talking about in regional development. Yesterday morning, we had an event at Tri-Cities Airport, and Chris said, "What did we do out here?" Well, we did a site kickoff. I found out later we had about 100 people out there that were involved in the aerospace park at Tri-City Airport. I believe I have a couple of pictures of, there's 140 plus acres there that is now 80% level and ready for its first tenant. And it's being marketed actively by Washington County, Sullivan County Economic Development personnel, the state of Tennessee, TVA, and that RITA, Northeast Tennessee branch of the TVA. You can see some of what's leveled. If you were in that area before around Hamilton Road, it was hills and valleys. We moved 2 million cubic yards of dirt, and we did not have to take a single yard off site, which is amazing. And as I say, we've got 80% of it done, and if we have a customer relocate tomorrow, we're ready with infrastructure, roads, sewer, electric, everything on that 140 acre site. Yesterday I asked what our competition is. There may be 10 airports in the country that are prepared like Tri-Cities Regional Airport is for industrial development. And it's certainly a jewel in our crown. Another picture of the grading, Summers, Rap Summers Group in Johnson City got that contract, and we are gonna come in with under the projected cost. Maybe the first thing I've ever done in government is coming in under the projected cost. We appropriated somewhere around $23 million. And that money was appropriated by Washington County, Johnson City, Sullivan County, Kingsport, Bristol, and Bluff City. And we all share in that debt service. Sullivan County, I believe, with our partners, are responsible for 55% of $8 million, which is the bond issue that we issued to match a state grant. We got a state grant of $4 million, and the rest of the money came from FAA and various sources. How about regular commuters? You see the numbers there, and I won't quote them to you. You can see them probably better than I can. But those are people that leave Sullivan County every day and work in another county. The most is 7,400. You'll find at 8 o'clock on Interstate 26, and they'll all be there together. And if one of them stops, they all stop. But as you see, we actually have a good number of people that go to work in Washington County, Virginia. And being from Gate City, I'm just amazed that we have folks from Kingsport moving over to Gate City and Scott County to work. Here's the commute in. As you see, we have 8,209 out of Washington County coming the other way. And they're all out there too at 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the evening. So, we're a region, whether we have recognized it. When people talk about regionalism, they really do hone in on industrial development, traditional economic development, and recruiting industry, recruiting manufacturing. But economic development is just so much more than that. As a matter of fact, I want to tell you all the things we're doing together as a region right now. First Tennessee Development District was established, I believe, by an act of the General Assembly. Don't know if it's if the date's not on there, I can act like I know it. But I think it was in 1965, and its purpose was economic development for Northeast Tennessee. There are 13 development districts around Tennessee, and we're the first Tennessee Development District. And you see on the right there, the programs that they run. Their efforts, as it affects Sullivan County majorly, is that they are grant writers. If we needed sewer at the industrial park at the end of the runway at the airport, they wrote the grant to get the grant from ECD, Economic Development in Nashville, to put that sewer in. These people assist our communities in housing programs, Meals on Wheels, disaster recovery. But you can see they do a lot, and they do it for 8 counties in Northeast Tennessee. We have a board of directors that's made up of the executive committee is the 8 county mayors and 4 or 5 municipal mayors. But In this organization, on the board of directors are 8 county mayors, 32 municipal mayors. Every incorporated city in this region is a member of the board of directors of First Tennessee Development District. They have a budget of about $7 million a year. Part of that money comes from the counties, but most of the money comes from state and federal programs, like the Appalachian Regional Commission and things of that nature. ACT, I mentioned the work-ready community. You see the map down in the bottom. And we're doing this, we've been doing this for years. I mean, since 1965. But the brown colored ones are the certified communities. Now, First Tennessee Development District has one person that is dedicated to getting the other counties ready to become certified work-ready communities. And again, that delivers a message to people who are looking to relocate or to locate a business. Northeast Tennessee is ready. You see the brown in West Tennessee. Ronnie Price, who is originally from Rogersville and now works for Networks, was actually in Dyersburg when they started that program, and Ronnie had a lot to do with getting them certified. So those are the areas of Tennessee, and you'll see there are none in the south, in the southern part of Tennessee. So we're unique in that respect. First Tennessee Human Resource Agency. You'll see their buses and vehicles around. There's a list of things they do there, and mostly they take people to doctor's appointments. They make an appointment. And they do it from Greenville to Johnson County to Hancock County. They operate all over this first district. Been doing that together for years. They're big in Meals on Wheels, and but NetTrans is the you'll see the vehicle on the right. That's what you would be familiar with on the road. They will make an appointment to come to your house, pick you up, take you to your doctor's appointment or to the hospital for a test or whatever, and take you back home for a minimal fee, $2 or $3 or something like that. ABT is the Alliance for Business Training, and they are a contractor. I happen to be chairman of it. I've been chairman of it a few times, and I just finished a term as chairman of First Tennessee Development District. The ABT run the Emerging Job Centers, and that would be the unemployment office down on Center Street. They're in charge of those. They hire contractors to run those offices. Those are not state people anymore. These are the Alliance for Business and Training, and they also, I'll get to the Workforce Investment Board next, but they are the staff of the Workforce Investment Board. Northeast Tennessee Local Workforce Development Board is made up of the local elected officials in these 8 counties. The local elected officials are the official representatives, but we have a board of directors of about 40 people that are in local industry, and they assist local industry in training programs. They get grants to train people for the Domtars, the Eastmans, things of that nature. So they have a great deal to do with having our workforce ready. Okay, that's on regionalism, and I'll talk just a minute about what Mayor Grandy and I are doing and where we are in that process. Probably read the newspaper report last week that Networks had received a proposal from the NetReps, the Northeast Tennessee Economic Development Group for Washington County, Johnson City, Jonesboro, Carter County, and Unicoi County. They had made a proposal to Networks to merge, and Networks has been considering this for some time. Well, Networks came back with a proposal to NetReps that Networks would lead the regional economic development efforts in traditional industrial recruiting. That honestly didn't go over very well. I think NetReps representatives felt like the Sullivan County was trying to drive the train for the whole first district, and that wasn't the intent at all. But that afternoon, NetReps that came out, NetReps voted to join the effort that Mayor Grandy and I are heading up to become a part of a hub organization. And Mayor Grandy and I have, I mentioned we appointed the Blue Ribbon Task Force. We have been over the last 2 years having meetings with the 8 county mayors and the 32 municipal mayors. Y'all remember back when we were trying to put networks together, and I think people get tired of hearing about this, but it took 2 years of my meeting with Mayor Jeanette Blazer, the Mayor of Bristol, and Mayor Bob Thomas of Bluff City. It took 2 years of us meeting in the bottom of the courthouse in a secret room to put networks together. That was just 4 entities. In the First Tennessee Development District, there are over 400 elected officials. So you can imagine what the process is going to be to get 400 people to agree on one direction, and it takes time. Our business partners don't like the delay, but it takes time to do that. We're relying on the 8 mayors to lead their county commissions. We're relying on the 32 municipal mayors to lead their councils or boards. And we will have a proposal for them before the end of the year. We will have a formal MOU that we come together in a hub organization that will be an umbrella to all the individual organizations dealing with tourism, workforce development, industrial recruiting, and entrepreneurship. And we've added marketing. Thanks to Tennessee Eastman, we have an excellent consultant that is working with us. He's worked with us on the MOU. So we're very close to bringing that to the public and taking that to each individual county and saying, will you join with us so that we will have a larger voice in Nashville? When we call Nashville now, out of this hub organization, that CEO, and we will hire CEO and staff to run that organization, will speak with the power of 500,000 people. We will be heard. We will be heard. So that's where we are on economic development and the regional operation. I'm sure I've left out some things, but the thing I want you to leave here with is that the proposal will be to establish, I don't like the word hub, but an umbrella organization that will bring all the efforts of the First Tennessee Development District counties together. Lots of folks are threatened by that. But John and I were talking earlier. The best resource we have are those people who are doing those jobs now. We need them to make this thing work. No county is going to be asked to give up their autonomy. No city is going to be asked to give up their autonomy and their right of independent action. We will be there to magnify their voice. We'll be there for Economic Development Commissioner in Nashville to call and say, Mr. CEO, I've got 2,000 jobs possibility here. Tell me about the First Tennessee Development District. And he will represent every county. You get pretty specific requests from Nashville. They don't say we got 2,000 jobs, they say we need 100 flat acres. So that one person and his staff will know where there's 100 flat acres in the First Tennessee Development District. They will know the road systems, they'll know the transportation systems. And that proposal will go down to the counties that qualify for that. So I think it's an exciting prospect. As I say, we're looking to wrap up by the end of the year, and I will take the proposal to the Sullivan County Commission and say, will you be part of this organization? Are you willing to become part of a bigger organization? We're hoping that with including the private sector, and that's the Eastmans, the Domtars, the Royal Moldings in Bristol, the Land Air and Greenville, to contribute to this, contribute to the cost of this. And we think they will. We actually think that our governmental contribution may actually shrink some if we can bring in private industry to help us. And they've made a commitment. As I mentioned, Eastman has retained a consultant out of Boston, and he's excellent. Mayor Shull and I have met with him many times. He's very experienced and very successful. So we will bring that to you. Now, I've got a few minutes left. Pat, I'll go as long or as short as you want me to.
Question.
Wanted to talk to you a little bit about the jail, because yesterday afternoon I just signed 30 documents that borrowed $80 million in your name. And you will be happy to know that we borrowed that $80 million for a interest rate for 20 years for 1.69%. And they asked me, they said, do you have any questions? I said, can I borrow some more? Because that's not gonna last too long. As a matter of fact, our bond agent yesterday said the market is already changing in anticipation of the election. And there's $20 trillion in the pipeline in this country. People wanting to issue bonds for $20 trillion. So this country's not in very bad shape. You see a rendering of a jail there that's about 4 stories high. If we could just get off this front row. But anyway, we can go on, but that's just a rendering. Right now, today, one of the biggest problems we've had in our jail are drugs in the jail. Now, we don't know how they get there, but we got drugs in the jail. And if we tested everybody, that's possible. But we're installing a body scanner given to us by Valley Health, and we're building a building to put that in. Last January, a group of commissioners, including Commissioner George, we went to Douglasville, Georgia, and Gwinnett County, and Gary also went. I think about 8 of us went. And these are pictures of jails that our architects and jail designers have shown us. In this particular one, these are the cells here, and this is their common area of a day room, and where they take their meals. Now, I believe this one had about 26 inmates. I believe there were 13 cells. That's a view from the second floor. And you see the windows in the end down here? That's the supervision. And the supervision for this group, beyond this wall, is another group just like it. So you could man that with one person, and he's watching 50 prisoners. That's the efficiencies of the new jail will be amazing. This is in Gwinnett County, and Gary and Coley can tell you. I believe these units in 2 stories handle about 56 prisoners. This is the day room area. It's self-contained. They never leave this area, and it's supervised. Well, that's another picture of the original one. So as you can see, they've got 2 different areas that they can see everything that goes on. These are the doors. We found out a lot on that trip. Those are sliding doors, because doors that open out can be used as a weapon, and they do. So our jail will have sliding doors, and they're more expensive. But again, let's just leave. The important thing about this slide is the construction. Jail cells are prefabricated, off-site, and brought in on rail cars or trucks. And you have a choice of 2 types of cells. This is a steel cell that's manufactured down in North Georgia. Even the bunks here are welded into this this is one unit. They bring it in, set it on a frame that you build. All the infrastructure is in the back of the cell, back here, and between this unit and the next unit, there's a hallway where all your utilities are. So if you have a problem of somebody stopping up a commode, you don't have to go in that cell. The only thing you go in that cell for is to change that light bulb. Go on. That's another, and that's the steel cell. Showers. Every pod, and I will show you what a pod is in a minute, has an outdoor exercise area. And this is at the end of a pod that has 56 people in it. So this is where they get their light. It's where they get their exercise. These were just spatial observation rooms. That's I believe solitary confinement, if I remember correctly, Gary. That's what solitary confinement in that jail is, and that's what it'd be in our jail. If somebody removes himself from this population, that's where he'll end up with a cot. That's the outside of the Douglasville, Georgia jail. And what's interesting about that, the outside area I showed you, this is what that is on both floors. So each different area, I'll show you a layout here. That's a laundry, that's a kitchen. They had a nice chapel in, I believe that was in Gwinnett County, Georgia. I've gone over a slide I wanted to show. These things, okay, this is the layout that we have in Bluntville right now. Everything in white, this is the Justice Center. This is where our courtrooms are now. This is maximum security right here, where we keep the maximum security prisoners. I think there's about 60 beds in there. The white here is where we keep 360 odd prisoners are in this area here. We're gonna replace every bit of that. Right now, this is a kitchen and medical. The new part, this will be kitchen, this green area will be kitchen, medical. See, we're not touching the old jail as we construct this one. We will not interfere with the building, with operation of the jail now. But you can see the hallways will all lead to the Justice Center. They'll lead down here, and now this is the typical layout. This is the exercise area here. These are the cells here. This is the day room area. This is the supervision area here at the end of those cells, with a reduced number of people to supervise them. And we're going to go 4 stories and build an additional 600 odd beds. We're going to end up with 1,204 beds in Bluntville, and that's including 360 odd beds here. We have a minimum security facility in Bluntville with 250 beds. We'll be closing that down eventually. This is expansion right here. We're going to go ahead and have that built as a shell. And this entire thing to build is $71 million. Now we can finish out these cells and add about 250 beds for an additional $7 million. And we have appropriated enough money to do that. And I can tell you, with I talked with the commissioner yesterday, if we can do what we should, which is have separate programs in our jail for mentally ill and for the drug addicts, I would want to keep them there, away from the population, where we can give them treatment. Hamilton County has an excellent program of rehabbing prisoners. So we want to be able to profile a prisoner when they come in, find out if it's an addiction or a mental health issue, then we want to have people to handle that, not just put them in the general jail population to serve their 6 months or their 9 months or 12 months. But that's what we'll spend. Well, I will mention here, see some why here. There had been a proposal, and I think Mr. Sullivan had talked about it before, to move all the courts to Bluntville. You know, we're one of, out of 5,000 counties in the United States, we're one of about 36 that have 3 different courthouses. We have 3 courthouses, and one of about 36, 37 counties in the United States. There's some efficiencies of having courtrooms in Bluntville.
There's some bad parts too, aren't there? Parking.
I'm sorry?
Lawyers getting mad.
Oh, yeah. Used car dealers are not mad, but lawyers are. Jack, it has been a proposal. We are not planning on it right now, but we are preparing that in the future. We need to do that. We have plans in place. And it would change the way we do business. It would change the economy of Bristol and Kingsport.
Well, Johnson City did it, and it's working well.
I'm sorry?
Johnson City combined in one place, and it's doing well.
Right.
It's just getting used to it.
It is doing well, and they still have some Justice Center downtown. No, they actually made that into Northeast State, didn't they?
Yeah.
Their old Justice, is that right, John? But anyway, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen anytime soon, but as I say, we're planning on it. The traffic patterns out here, this is the intake area, and where we will, bring people in. We'll have a sally port here, which we'll have big folding doors, and if we have somebody in the car, we bring them in this side, take them out of the car, bring them in here and book them here, and then the cars will exit there. We'll have a better road beside Burger King up here. Again, this is all intake on the first floor. It will be sales on the second floor. And as I say, we're planning on four floors high. So let me do that. Keep watch on the clock, getting a little close. I'd like to answer questions if you have some, and I can make up an answer. There's the park at Deary Inn. We dedicated this to Dennis Hauser, the late Dennis Hauser. Dennis championed this project. And if you want to have a wedding, or you want to have a family gathering, that's a beautiful little place. We've got swings, and we got a pavilion, and we just had Jeff McKee, one of our members, his daughter just got married at the Deary Inn this past weekend. He and Susie had that. Jeff here today. Good. I think it was a good experience. But anyway, I wanted to show you a little bit about what's going on. This is West Ridge High School. It's a little bit of a flyover, but I'll try to explain what I know about it. Our relationships have not been great with our school board, but we've appropriated $90 million to build this high school for about 1,700 students. It will be a world-class career technical education facility. As a matter of fact, the entire first front area here is all glassed in, and we'll be teaching robotics and things of that nature in there. Back here is the boys and girls gym. I'm not exactly sure what this is, but I think it's dedicated to CTE. And these are just general classrooms, academic classrooms. Now, if I can, let me see if I can get that flyover. I believe that's moving. But, of course, the buses will enter here. Lots of parking over here. Buses will enter here, just forward to their students and come back in. You can see this is Hunt Ridge behind us, and we own that. We're gonna have an EMS, a fire station back. Gosh. A fire station back in this area, and it's gonna be part of our CTE school. Let me see if I can start that again. It's only a minute or so. About a minute, 30 seconds or something, but it'll give you a good idea of the layout. We will have an exit onto Hartown or Har Road, which is back here beyond this ridge. There'll be a back end exit here for football games and things of that nature. You might be interested to know we appropriated $90 million to build this school, and the county commission just approved this past week an additional $8 million out of the reserve funds of the Sullivan County School Department that they had saved up over the last 20 years. So, see, here's Interstate 81. This will be going to the football stadium. The field house is right over here. field house for the football stadium is here. The stadium will be right in this area, and one end zone will back up to Interstate 81. So you can see there's a lot of work going on. It will open up in the fall of 2021, and it should be a showplace, quite honestly. It's state of the art as far as CTE goes. We hope we'll be having students from surrounding counties come to get CTE. So thought that might be of interest to you, since so much of your money's there, and that was part of $140 million. And $47 million of that bond issue came to Kingsport. $27 million came to went to Bristol, and they're building the new Vance Junior High School in Bristol, and that $27 million. So your money's well spent.
Mayor, could
Mayor?
you take a couple of questions?
I'll be happy to, if I can hear.
Richard, what is the timeline on the new jail?
I'm sorry,
What is the timeline on the new jail?
timeline, we'll be